The Battle of Civitate, fought on 18 June 1053 near the town of Civitate in Apulia, represents one of the most decisive moments in the history of southern Italy and in the rise of Norman power in medieval Europe. During the first half of the 11th century, the Normans, originally pilgrims and mercenaries from northern France, had gradually transformed themselves into a dominant military force in southern Italy, exploiting the political fragmentation of the region, which was divided among Lombard principalities, Byzantine territories, and areas under loose papal influence. By the early 1050s, Norman leaders such as the Hauteville family and Richard of Aversa controlled large portions of Apulia and Calabria, often acting independently and aggressively, seizing land, castles, and revenues. Their expansion alarmed Pope Leo IX, who viewed the Normans not only as a threat to papal territories, but also as violent usurpers destabilizing Christian order in Italy. Determined to stop their advance, Leo IX sought military support from the Holy Roman Emperor Henry III, who provided a contingent of elite Swabian infantry, while additional troops were gathered from Lombard princes hostile to the Normans and from other Italian regions. Confident in the moral authority of the papacy and the numerical strength of his army, the Pope personally led the coalition south, aiming to confront and defeat the Normans decisively. The Norman forces, commanded by Humphrey of Hauteville, then Count of Apulia, alongside Robert Guiscard and Richard of Aversa, were fewer in number, but composed largely of heavily armed cavalrymen with extensive battlefield experience. Before the battle, the Normans attempted to negotiate, aware of the symbolic danger of fighting the Pope, but Leo IX refused compromise, convinced that divine favor and imperial backing would secure victory. When the armies met near Civitate, the battle opened with fierce engagement between the Norman cavalry and the papal coalition. The Swabian infantry formed a disciplined and resilient corps, fighting on foot with long spears and shields, and they initially withstood repeated Norman charges with remarkable determination, inflicting serious losses and temporarily halting the Norman advance. In contrast, the Lombard troops on the papal side showed less cohesion and commitment, and when pressed by Norman attacks, they soon broke formation and fled the field, a collapse that proved decisive. With the Lombards gone, the Swabians found themselves surrounded, yet they continued to fight stubbornly for hours, demonstrating exceptional discipline and courage despite exhaustion and mounting casualties. Eventually, the superior mobility, tactical coordination, and shock power of the Norman cavalry prevailed, and the Swabian formation was destroyed almost to the last man. The papal army suffered a catastrophic defeat, and Pope Leo IX was captured by the Normans, an event of enormous symbolic significance, as it marked one of the rare instances in medieval history where a reigning pope was taken prisoner in battle. Despite this, the Normans treated Leo IX with respect, recognizing the importance of papal legitimacy, and held him in honorable confinement in Benevento rather than subjecting him to humiliation or violence. The consequences of the Battle of Civitate were profound and long-lasting. The defeat forced the papacy to abandon its military opposition to the Normans and eventually to accept them as legitimate rulers of southern Italy. This shift culminated a few years later in the Treaty of Melfi in 1059, through which the papacy formally invested Robert Guiscard and other Norman leaders with their titles, transforming former enemies into crucial allies. In this sense, Civitate not only confirmed Norman military superiority, but also reshaped the political order of Italy, strengthening both Norman territorial power and papal influence through alliance rather than confrontation, and laying the foundations for the Normans' central role in Mediterranean politics, the Crusades, and the complex relationship between secular and religious authority in the High Middle Ages.